me check on here. Drop this down. Okay, just one more second, just to check that we are live. Yes, we are. So, okay, so before we begin, welcome to the show. But before we begin, let's have some intros.
My name is Emily Harrison, founder and director of the Akashic Academy and mentor to other lightworkers in the realm of the Akashic Records. I got to give a shout out today to Sifu Boggy, my personal Sifu. I want to invite you to open your mind to the way, the conscious way, the way of conscious mindfulness. Peace.
Guys, Billy Carson here, also known as 4-Bitted Knowledge with the number 4. I wanted to give a special shout out here to Sifu Boogie, and that's Sifu, which means master, okay? Open your mind to the way, the conscious way, the way of conscious mindfulness, and follow the way of conscious mindfulness on Facebook, ASAP, okay? Much love from Forbidden Knowledge. Thank you.
Chakra here. Be empowered, Sifu of you. Let it show you your way. What is your way? Step in to the way, the conscious way, the way of conscious mindfulness.
Hello and welcome to the show. Yes, we're here, and welcome to the Temple Way. So my name is Sifu Boggy. Sifu means guide, someone who points you along the path, points you on your way. Boggy means the balancer between the chaos and the calmness. As right at this moment in time, I've got music playing in my ear. That's why I'm shouting. That's better. I can actually hear myself now. And so Boggy means the balance between the chaos and the calmness. And for the last 38 years, I've been studying the Taoist arts. The Tao means the way, the path, the balance. And my goal, my aim is to help people who suffer with chronic pain, with stress, anxiety, but also healers, light workers, coaches. I give you techniques that can reduce that pain, that can reduce that anxiety, and also help you supercharge yourself and ensure that you never burn out. So that's what I do. And this is the beautiful, the wonderful, the absolutely amazing Carilla. So what do you do, my dear lady?
Thank you. It's so lovely to be back on the show. I am a channel, and so everything that I do is channeled. It's a combination of ceremonies and courses, and in non-2020 time, spiritual travel. Although that one's we've been a little bit short on this year. But yes, so, and it's all about using spiritual and channel tools to become more empowered, live more of your true self, more of the fulfilling, overflowing life that you are potentially capable of.
Indeed, what she said. Yeah, so and this show, we did this like last year, and well, actually we did as well.
You made a
February.
couple of them at the start of 2020.
Yeah. They started, and then the tribe with the way of conscious mindfulness sort of went into the tribe and went sort of tribe TV, and then the world fell apart. We timed that perfectly. We've all, we create tribe TV, and then the world fell apart. And so, but then I'm sort of come back now, and and do a few shows. One with this lovely lady, and a few other shows as well. And I just thought, bring my head back. When everybody's falling apart, really things are just falling into place. So, or at least that's what I've always felt, always believed. And how, well, we sort of said this off air, but how has 2020 been for you?
What a question. Actually, 2020 has been many, many, many things for me. I think everybody can say that. But I was thinking about 2020 and what it did for me the other day. And I finally found the words for it. I went on a huge personal journey myself in 2020. A lot changed in my reality many times over. And what I realized as I was thinking about it is that before 2020, I was very busy manifesting a life that I loved. And what 2020 showed me or taught me was that in that manifesting the life that I really loved, I was forgetting to be love. And so 2020 gave me the opportunity to remember to be love rather than just manifesting a life I loved by taking everything that I was attached to away. by taking that life that I was manifesting away. And it changed my values massively, and made them more Aquarian. And so I am very, very grateful to 2020 and the journey that it's taken me on personally.
That that was an interesting trigger right there, is that you for like being grateful for what's happened, being great. You always hear people say, oh, I can't wait for this year to end, and I hope the next one's better. And one of the biggest things I learned was that your traumas are Sifus. Everything that happens to you is a teacher, and within the ancient knowledge, within Taoist knowledge, those who've ever studied like Ra, the channelings called Ra, the Law of One, and they talk about the unit. They talk about life as experience. Everything is, people hear me say there is no good or bad, there just is. And what I mean, what's meant for me by that everything is experience. Everything is you learning how you deal with situations and how you deal with this. And a lot of I've heard a lot of people talk about the woes, but also how much that this time has put people together. It's you talk about Dark Night of the Souls, when you talk about shadow work, this is like this year was the world. We're sort of saying about Mother Gaia will be fine, if we whatever we do, people worry about the earth, it's the earth will be fine. This is the earth going, right, it's time for you to do some shadow work. Bosh. However, with the virus, whatever you think about it, at the end of the day, it's done. Whether whether it's man-made, nature-made, whatever, it has created a whole opportunity for growth. And if you're hiding from stuff, it's shoved it in your face. If you wished you had more time with your family, you've had it. It is really flipped everything on its head. And and I think, you know, that's what, you know, that's what I love about you, is that the prime words is that gratitude for it, that gratitude for opportunity to grow is what this year has really been around and been about, and everything has you know, has flipped around. And I personally, I'm not one for forecasting, but I said to Shanine originally last year, big things are going to happen. There's going to be big changes, not rosy, but they're going to be big changes. And she, you know, you got to. And he said, yeah, and it's next year is going to make this year look like, you know, it was just a warm up. They're still coming, but it's all about, I think it's all about when you learn how to open up, when you learn how to you know, when you learn how to go with it, you'll learn how to thrive, you'll learn how to grow from it rather than take it as a negative thing, if that makes sense.
Definitely, definitely. My dad said something very beautiful to me. They said that growth is the primary intention of the universe. If you are growing, you're in alignment. And, you know, the things that make us grow quicker, they tend to be in our highest good, even though at the time we can really be in the story rather than the ceremony of those experiences. But actually, I think we will all turn around and be very, very grateful for 2020 and how it served us in the end. I know that it's very hard when you are living the story of it. But what I feel from my kind of perspective on it is that essentially what 2020 has done is forced us to move away from our Piscean values so that we can start to really figure out what our Aquarian values are. And that is essential for ascension. That's, you know, at some point we needed to let go of the habits of Pisces and the drives of Pisces and the values of Pisces, and to just even make room to start thinking about what Aquarian perspective is, you know, and that's what I feel it has done. And I agree with you. I'm very of the like, whatever you think, I actually think everybody's right. I'm like, you know, I think what truth is your experience. So we're all right in terms of who's doing what, why, when. But as I was saying on another vlog, actually, you know, my guide a long time ago said to me, you know, a sacred sign, that's used by the light and the dark. That's just a PowerPoint. Like all of the things are used by the light and the dark. They're the same. It's just the intention is different. And so, and that is the same as everything that is happening this year. It can either be apocalypse or it can be ascension. That is up to each individual person.
Well, that word, you know, words when you look at words, apocalypse means change. Doesn't mean doom and gloom and end. It means change. And as part of my training, my CFIs got me to study all different religions for about 13 years. And there was this great rabbi that I knew who knew not just his knowledge, but he knew like the Christian, like the Old Testament and the Christian as well. And he would say it doesn't actually say about destruction as in end of world. It says great turbulence as in change would come. And you know, the whole thing of like we talked about Pisces. Well, we sort of talked about the Piscean energy in the east. So that symbol over there, which everybody calls yin yang, actually is Tai Chi. Tai Chi is the balancing, the blending of the yin, the feminine, the yang, the masculine, balancing together, which is the Aquarius energy, the flowing. That's why if you turn it to a side, it looks like a wave, because it's supposed to move. We come from the Piscean energy of yin yang, which would be half a black circle, half a white circle, banging together, which is opposing opposites, that warlike energy. That's what we come from. And we're even, the whole point of in other ancient cycles, this is the goal. We are in the Aquarius energy is the energy of the golden race, not the golden age is sometimes used. It's the golden race, the race that allows the alchemy to turn them gold, to turn them to transcend and to grow. And that's, you know, we're past the cusp. But the thing is, when you're past the cusp, you get all the turbulence. You know, get a bowl of water, put your finger in it, or the water's going one way, you put the finger to make it go the other way. First thing that happens, splash up, splash back, chaos. Well, welcome to the party. Well, welcome to the revolution of love. So yeah, and you know, I always, when people have been saying about how crazy this year's been, and I know them, I'll go, but last year you were saying, I wish I had, or in the past you've been saying, I wish I had more time with my family. I wish I could learn a new musical instrument. I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that.
The gift of time. I mean, I said it the first UK lockdown. I was like, we're being given a gift that our ancestors for generations haven't received. You know, to be able essentially to be paid to not work. Most people, I know not all people, but even the people, you know, I worked all the way through lockdown, but even the people that worked, because nothing else was happening, you still had loads of time. I was like, brilliant, everybody's going to be able to do so much shadow work. Like, this is going to be amazing. And, you know, now that the UK is in another lockdown, I feel that the UK lockdown is higher vibrational as an option than what we had just before we went into lockdown, where everybody's walking around suspicious and in masks and stressed out. Like the lockdown where everybody just cooks healthy food and does self-work and breathes feels far better preparation for the solstice moment of ascension. One of many, but an important one. Than us all trying to recreate a reality that isn't a reality. Yeah, no, lockdown's much more vibrational.
And I mean, it's funny things like I've called a couple of call centers and they're all at home. It's quiet, you know, they're at home on the call center. And it's like, it actually reminded me of this crazy thing. There was this thing back in the 90s where this company had a call center but it made everybody do it at home. But people complained that they didn't feel it was a proper call center because they couldn't hear any noise in the background. So they gave all their staff tapes of office noise to play in the background. So it's like the people calling them would feel, oh, you know, everything's okay. And it's almost like that. It's like, you know, we complained about, you know, not having enough, and now we've got it, and now we're like, and it's like, why are you enjoying it? You know, you always wanted to, and that's what individuals I've said, you know, you've always said you wanted to learn this, go and learn this, go and do it, go and, you know, you've got more time with the family now, you got more this, and yeah, I think you know, yeah, I think it was I definitely feel this was it was something that, like I said, I just knew what was going to happen last year. I wasn't going to predict what it was because I didn't know, but I knew everybody was going to get flipped on the head, and I knew that people were going to, you know, the the average person who doesn't even probably know what shadow work is was going to face it, whether they realized it or not, because I see ripples of energy as a shade dragon and shaman. It's all about you feel the ripples, and I've been feeling the ripples for about probably more than that, 5 years at least, of this time where everything's going to flip. And like I say, I don't predict stuff, and I couldn't predict what it was going to be, but I just knew and like I say, next year,
yes,
year even
I think I do think that we're at the beginning. I mean, you know, there were two very significant messages that I had. One of them was in December, actually, and my guides just said to me, do not plant anything for 2020 because you will be planting seeds in soil that isn't going to be there. And I didn't take it that seriously. I was like, oh, that's them being a bit dramatic. Gonna plan the stuff. But that message has really spoken to me since. And it's
okay. You weren't over dramatic.
Dramatizing it. And the soil isn't there anymore, you know, and but ascension happens from foundation upwards, because everything happens from foundation upwards. And what we are seeing at the moment is, what we are living is the collapse of one foundation, out of which a new foundation will be built. And actually my guides, they love talking to people about this time, and they're like, you know, you're all going about how hard it is and stuff like that, but you don't understand how amazing it is. You are literally living 2 ages. Your DNA is getting to experience Pisces and Aquaria. That happens like every 26,000 years, you know. Your soul is like, oh my goodness, this is way more exciting than just being in Aquaria or just being in Pisces, because you're getting to really feel what it's like to have 2 hearts, 2 consciousnesses, to be between ages and worlds. And that is where the soul receives the most wisdom, the most evolution, the most growth. And so, you know, it really is amazing to be alive at this time, to be witnessing and experiencing and living one age dying and one age being born.
Why do you think there's so many people on the planet right now? You know, there's so many.
Like, you got the golden ticket. Like, they gave as many tickets as they could. You know.
It is exactly that, you know, and there were certain, you know, channels that predict, you know, there's a mass of people, and there's lots of people watching, because this is a very rare, you know, spectacle. It's a very rare, you know, and you know, for me, you know, it is, you know, you live and die over and over again. You're an immortal. Your consciousness is immortal, and so, but even then, this thing rarely happens, and therefore, especially on a planet that has so much diversity and so much opportunity. So yeah, it is it is a great time to be here. But it's one of these things. I just hope that people sort of live in the now, rather than, people will always say, oh, you know, something was really traumatic. It's funny now, but it was traumatic at the time. It's like, you don't realize how cool it is right now. And if you can get over the shock and just actually, you know, focus on, and I've got tinnitus right now, so that's my guides, that's the universe going bing. Yes, focus on. But right here, right now is the real focus, is the real time to be focused and on and living that moment and enjoying it and observing everything that's going on and the opportunities that you have right here, right now.
I had a beautiful message from the trees on a journey that I was running. That was an online journey that was about resilience. And the trees came through and gave this amazing message. And they just said that, they were like, we live so long because we just connect to the moment. But in the consciousness that this moment is never going to be here again. The next moment will be similar, but it won't be the same. This moment is unique and it's never, ever, ever, ever going to be here again. And so we try and absorb as much of it as we can and understand as much of it as we can and enjoy as much of it as we can. And they're like, that is how we connect to every moment. I was like that, and in that is so much freedom as well, because it's like, whatever's going on, the moment's also never going to be here again. You're only enduring it for a moment, and then it is going to change and it will never be back. It will never be this moment again.
No, because every moment is unique. Every, even if, something similar, you meet somebody 20 years later from the first time you met them. Yeah, you've met them again, but they're different because everything changes. It's, and that's the whole point. And I think I just a lot of the ancient knowledge talk about living in the now, appreciate the now, having gratitude, and that's what I loved about that gratitude for everything, and because this moment is treasure. This moment is sacred because it's never going to be the same next time. We every show we do is different because it's never the same as the last one. So what are you doing right now? What are you guys setting up right at this moment in time?
I'm so excited. I'm so glad you asked me. One of the things that my guides talk a lot about, which is why our show is called is the Temple Ways. And they talk a lot about the ceremonies that we have lost and how we have to start reclaiming them, because the new golden age is a new temple age. And so the foundation that we are building out of the one we are losing is a temple foundation. And they actually channeled about this ceremony a while back. It's called the Held in Prayer ceremony. And basically, what used to happen in ancient temple ages is the priesty who I've mentioned on other shows with you, the unity beings, their temples used to hold prayer over a community, over the community that the temple was for, but constantly. So you were constantly held in the energy of prayer. And what this does is it brings that community into the resonance field of oneness. And so just like how the guides described it, is it's like the starlings, the individual starlings, when they come into the, what's it called? It's
not a flock.
No, it's like a murmuration of starlings, isn't it?
Yeah, yes.
And
you carry on, I'll look it up.
But what that does is it takes you beyond your limitations. So if you imagine the tiny little starling, when it's in the pod of starlings, is suddenly enormous. So it's way beyond its own limitations. It's suddenly immune to its predators, and it's become unlimited through being in the resonance field of oneness. Yeah. And there's many reasons why this ceremony was done. Firstly, it keeps the peace, keeps the feminine and masculine energies united. It is amazing for emotional, physical all forms of immunity. It's amazing for manifesting because you're unlimited, and it's amazing for healing because you're held. When the priesty left the collective consciousness, which is a story for another time, our first true experience of separation was those prayer ceremonies stopping. That is when the human collective went, separation. And really that was, in lots of ways, you could argue the beginning of Pisces, because Pisces has been a lot about exploring separation. And so this act of holding each other in ceremony, this held in prayer ceremony, my guides have called for it twice. Once was honored Starlight Journey, and I was like, this feels amazing. Like the first, like you can feel it, and like it changes things, and it's just amazing. And then they hadn't called it again for ages. And then for the recent blue full Samhain moon, the guide said, you need to do a held in prayer ceremony online this weekend. And so we did it for 48 hours. And the group that were called Held Prayer, taking it in turns to hold the prayer over each other for 48 hours. And this time, because the first time we did it, it was only in the day, going to sleep with prayer holding you is amazing. Like the sleep you have is just amazing. Waking up is amazing. And the whole group, like I was like, this is the best Halloween I've ever had. Like, even though I was in lockdown, UK was going into lockdown, and like the whole group were just feeling so amazing. For me, what I thought was so special about it is, you know, I have done so many vibration raising things in my life. This is the first thing that I've truly found that stabilizes you into a high vibration. You stay in a high vibration. You still have your human experience, but you don't have it from the wounds of separation. You have it from a perspective of oneness. And basically at the end of it, the group were just like, we don't, you know, the prayer candle went out, because there was a prayer candle lit the whole time. When it went out, you felt the shift. You felt the return to separation. And the group were like, no, no, we do not want this. Like, we're not okay. We want to go back to that. And so I asked the guides, and they said, yes, it had to be called by the human heart, because it's the medicine of the human heart. But this is meant to be happening, and it's happening for a really long time to support the ascension. So from the 11:11, starting tonight, so that we're praying by the 11:11, to just after the solstice, which is a big ascension day where many people need to be high vibrational. And through it, the guides are going to be doing a lot of light work, making sure that this energy actually goes in to stabilize the collective consciousness. So it is a really beautiful ceremony to be part of. You hold prayer once a week for an hour and 11 minutes. And in return for that prayer keeping, you get held for the rest of the time. So you are constantly held in prayer. And yeah, I am just so excited about it. It's going to be, I feel like it's going to be one of the really significant moments of my ascension and my path. And I think that will be true for every light worker that's called to prayer. Which you are.
Yeah. I am. Well, I'm definitely up for it, because I've actually experienced this before, and I don't mean past lives as well. But in Tibetan temple is when you came with, who I came in with, I was instantly put into, and they talk about this being the old ways. So Tibet, there was Taoist monasteries that did it as well. You entered, and they would say, right, you know, a similar sort of thing, you know, is that you would do the prayer at one particular time, and then then the whole group would come together for one as well. But you would feel it in that area, and you would feel that energy. But one of the real important parts of it, which was this whole thing when people talk about spirituality should be free, is that everything is craved, everything, the yin and the yang, the tai chi. And so to get that energy, you were part of that energy, you contributed as part of that energy, and that connected you. It wasn't just as payment, but that connected you. By doing it yourself, you connected to that energy and you became part of that energy. And actually, sort of slightly a different show, it's like a me and a Britney show, but FBI were actually studying this. They knew about this and they studied it. The experiments where they had 20 people, 2,000 people focusing for a weekend, and they dropped the crime rate in the state of Washington by 20%. Then they did it worldwide and dropped acts of terror by over 80%. They already know this exists.
This is what my guides are saying, is that so many of the world's problems, the things that we perceive as problems, they are territory, war, money, all of it. They are people, they are coming from that wound of people wanting to feel safe. And what prayer does is it makes you feel safe. So it is a medicine for so much of the problem in the world. And at this time, with such exaggerated separation, the mental health issues, the problems of people being masked and disconnected for community, I can think of no better ceremony or medicine for this moment in time. It's like a counter. It's like the antibiotics for what is happening on the collective level, and that's why it has to happen.
I think the whole thing of the mask, I think that was for this, because for me, Taoistically, quantum physics, there is no linear line, everything's interwoven. As the great Doctor Who once said, it's all a bunch of wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff. It's all a big mess. But is from the by the mask, people are feeling separation far more than they felt it, and then this will be, well, this is what you need, this to resolve this, and this is the thing. I think that's why I think 2020 was such a needed thing, because to push people to see we need a new way of doing things, you had to push it to an extreme. Otherwise we could have carried on for another 100 years, feeling more and more alone and not knowing why. We pushed it to a point where we actually are looking at the mirror and having to face it. And this, anybody's watching this, especially, well, not anybody, but especially if you're in the States, we're looking for people during the night to cover certain hours, I think, still, and
so actually we filled the 168 hours. It filled this morning, but the more people that pray, the more powerful this is. So there is now a new timetable open and people can really pick whatever time works for them. And they'll just be doubling up with another person, but that just magnifies both prayers. And so there is what we needed was the 168 hours a week filled, because the prayer can never be broken. Now that's filled, it's like whoever wants to come and do whatever times they want to do, they can just come and help to amplify, essentially.
And this is the thing, by being part of it, so how I felt for me in the past, there's a thing I say in Qigong. When you do Qigong, and especially and a prayer is your prayer, so it's yours straight away. You don't have to worry about, you just do whatever feels right for you. But with Qigong, once you learn the Qigong, everyone that's ever done that qigong and everyone that ever will do that qigong, wherever they are in the universe, not just the world but the universe, but that's another thing for another time. Everyone is doing it at the same time with you. All your energies all harmoniously come together. So, or another way of saying it is that if there's 100 people and they all bring one bit of fruit or one vegetable or one herb, and you add that all together, everyone has contributed to the pot. And so when you eat from the pot, you're eating a little bit of, you're sharing everyone's energy, you're sharing everyone's giving, what they've given. You're sharing a little bit of everyone's, and it blends together and it raises the vibration. If that makes sense.
Definitely. And I you know, I'm really glad you kind of brought that up, actually, in a way, because I suddenly was like, and it is non-religious prayer. Like, it can be, because it is your vegetable, it's your spice. And so, and actually the guides say in this ceremony, it's actually good if you're praying to different deities, so that there's Allah and Ganesh and Jeshua and the universe and Mother Earth, because then you're just calling in more of the collective flavor, more of the collective DNA and energy. And so, and that's what we want, is a really, really spice infused pot of prayer, like with all the spices in it, you know?
Yeah. And yeah, because that's how it was, you know, sort of explained to me. Well, and that's how, you know, and that's how it works. But it's such, you know, it's one of the things I definitely missed, because it was such, and like, you know, so, oh, you know, we're gonna, it's like, can't we do it forever? You know, can't we find a load of people that, you know, want to do it and keep doing it? So it's like, you know, I'll happily join that bandwagon.
You know what, people are already saying, wow, if this goes well, let's do it for a year. And I'm like, let's I mean, really, that is how it worked. That, you know, for the time we're in a golden age, the held in prayer ceremonies will be back full time.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm very like, I appreciate that purging also needs to happen. And so I would imagine that my guides at least will be turning it on and off. But for this moment of getting ready for ascension, it's right to be held in.
I know, like I say, there are places out there, I know that they still happen. They never stopped, but, you know, it's little places, and yeah. But this is your introduction to it, and like I say, yeah. So yeah, you know, pray, you know, prayer is just you joining with the universe. You know, you can, you know, don't forget, you know, prayer can be dance. If you, for those out there, if you want to, you know, dance and send your energy out to the universe for an hour and 11 minutes, do that, and you get yourself super fit at the same time, because if you can dance for an hour and 11 minutes, that's an exercise. But my, you know, there was very much in the Dragon Dog Shaman is that, yeah, prayer, you know, prayer is just opening up to the universe and sending that energy out into the universe. You know, you can do it in this way, you can do it in this way, you can do it through the sound. However, you know, do not get caught up by, you know, prayer, like the word meditation, like the word qigong or yoga. Do not get caught up by the word. Do not be scared by the word. It is, as long as you're giving in a way, you know, as long as you're not, I'm going to pray, I'm going to sleep. No, you need to be active. It has to be something you're actively doing for that hour and 11 minutes. That makes sense?
In the last one, I mean, with the held in prayer ceremony, this specific one, it is about going out to the universe, but it's also about surrounding the group. And so, because you want to create the pod energy, so it's about sending that prayer, which is basically like good intentions, so health, happiness, growth, love, sending that around the group that of the prayer holders, because it's And actually then what my guides are going to do is activate certain energy so it does go into the collective. But what's missing from the collective is the pod energy. And so that's the medicine that they want to put back in. And yes, in the last one, some people were singing, some people were whispering, some people were, just doing the same chant or mantra. You really get into the flow. I sat down for my prayer and suddenly like all of this stuff was just coming through me, and you almost don't have to do it, if that makes sense. It's like, just like you say, as you open, it just goes. Yeah. And the hour and 11 minutes goes very quick. Very quick.
It does. Well, I've done, it's like same but different. I've done 3 hours of qigong before, and they've gone, is that it? Is that over already? And people go, you do 3 hours of qigong, 180 minutes of qigong, and it's like, yeah, but you get lost in it. That's the whole point. And this is, I think, people get lost in TV, but that drains, that's taking out rather than building up. And when you actually do something for more than 15 minutes, like I say, an hour and 11 minutes is awesome, is that you get into a routine, and it's like a dynamo effect. Your body just gets into that routine. And yeah, but so many things come up, so many things can come through, and just keep going with it. Just meditation simply means focus on one thing and allow yourself to forget everything else. So just go with what you're doing, go with what you're flowing with, and just go with the flow.
I had an amazing message about TV training the other day. Can I share it?
Please do.
So, I'm sure all of you will have heard there is a lot of guidance coming around that is like, observe all the chaos and the drama and the collapse, just observe it. And in fact, I read a really beautiful quote today that was like, a ship doesn't sink because it's in the water, it sinks because it lets the water, when the water gets into the ship, like, just don't let it come in. And this is what all these channels and teachers and stuff are talking about when they say observe it. And my guides were like, where you've had amazing training for that? Television. Like, how many times have we all watched drama and just been able to like observe it and watch it play out without ever absorbing it, and without like living it, And they were like, yes, those television, those children of the 90s realities have really taught you well for this time.
Yeah, very, very much so. No, this sounds really cool and amazing, and like I say, anybody watching it, so even better, you don't even pick a time of your choosing and add to the collective and add to the bubble. And I'm definitely looking forward. Yeah, I'm definitely.
Yeah, it'll be so fun to have you. It'll be amazing to have you. What have you got coming up?
What, show wise or me? Well, I mean, I'm doing, for me it's like everybody's sort of getting like confused, and for me it's like, I've got to get brighter, I've got to, hello, I'm over here, and so for those, I'm building up the classes and the qigong, the online stuff, and allowing, giving techniques that help people and help people grow and help people don't lose that energy, which is this whole thing of what we're talking about. That's why I love the idea so much. And then I'm going to do a few more shows. So this once a month, Doc Delaney and myself, monthly ponderings once a month. Me and Brittany doing conspiracy theory show once a month, and Denise Chadwick, who's very much in channeling energy. Me and her will be doing a light code show once a month. So yeah, I'm gonna have a few shows again, and like I say, just be out there for those who want to learn and want to grow. Always happy to teach, always happy to point them on their path. So I don't really, I teach ish. I'm more of a here's some stuff. Let's have some fun. Here's some
Play with
yeah, play with this. There's some techniques. Because oh yeah, because somebody said to me, I said, I know around about 1,000 qigongs. Says, how the heck do you know 1,000 qigongs? It's simple. Forget everybody's name. Never remember what day it is and what you're supposed to be doing, and you'll learn 1,000 qigongs. Well, it works for me anyway. So but no, it's all fun. It's all fun. That's the whole point. It's just it's about what's your attitude on it. Is shining out that light, which is what I do, and just having fun the best I can, which is what I do. So it's all good in the hood.
Amazing. Well, it all sounds very, very magical and powerful and of service. And
it works, and that's all that's really important. As long as it works, and as long as you're experiencing it and having fun and just going with the flow the best you can. Like yourself, there's part of me that wants to plan ahead and plan things, but I know at the same time that's a really silly thing to do right now. is that you can set things up, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't work because we are going through lots of growth and lots of things like the prayer. We've so disconnected with energy, and we're so disconnected with that connection that's the thing that's really important right now, and that's really understanding, learning to connect with yourself, learning to connect with the energy and the universe, and just learning stop seeing things separate and start seeing how we're connected, rather than saying how separate we are and how different we are. How similar are we? How connected are we? How can we blend together and learn, and grow with each other than trying to grow separate? But hey, what do I know?
Yeah, I love that. Learning together rather than separately. Together is the way.
Well, it is the golden age. It is the golden race energy. It is the Aquarius energy. Is this is together? It's flowing together. That's how wars happen when we're separate. Wars happen when we're focusing on the differences rather than focusing on the similarities and focusing on what we can do. Don't focus on the disagreement, focus on the agreement, focus on the love, focus on what can help build us together.
And I think that's really worth saying. I know that so many people have different opinions, and some people are really, really fighting for human rights, and other people are really fighting for the vulnerable, and other people are really fighting for health. And everybody's got different opinions on corona and who started or how it was started and so forth and so forth. But we are united by care. Everybody cares. Everybody cares about each other. The people that are fighting for human rights care as much as the people that are fighting for the vulnerable. Like, everybody care. We are united by care. We care about each other. And that's the bit we need to remember,
Yeah. And I just would sort of say, stop fighting, care more, fight less. Because I'm fighting to get this. Well, don't fight, do it. Do what you need to do. Because at the end of the day, if anything, this situation's taught us is go, find your little spot, find your own thing, and just do it. You know, is that we could have talked about setting up prayer circles and how important these are in fights. No, sorry, just do it. Find a group of people and do it. You know, don't. The fighting is the Piscean energy. Fighting is about you're opposing something. Stop opposing and just do what, you know. If you do it in your own little corner, you do it with your own set of friends, then you do it with your own set of friends, but you're doing it. That's more important than fighting. Somebody, there will always be somebody who disagrees. They disagree over there, I disagree over here, and we get on to do our own thing.
And good, because we do need people fighting for different corners of society and fighting. You know, this time is also about what we are going to save. It is about what we are going to take from Pisces. And so there are different people that are, you know, in the UK, the people that are passionately saving the NHS. That's because they are guardians of that, that the NHS's transition. Just as the people that are passionately fighting for human rights are guardians of the human rights that we will be taking with us. And so, and we can't be guardian of everything. We've got to be guardian of the things that we're guardian of. But let other people do their guardianship and do your guardianship. And that's the way to navigate this, you know?
Yeah. What she said. Okay, so guys, I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, because I think you did. I know I did.
I loved it. It's lovely to be working again with you, my darling.
And you. It's and we have we sort one out for next month?
I haven't put it in yet, but I will.
No,
we're definitely doing it though. We have to do it.
We have to do it.
December 2020, we have to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's definitely definitely, because it's gonna get more interesting next month, let alone next year. But anyway, yes, definitely, for sure. So yes, there will be another one next month. And the links, well, the website, I'll put the website, so from the February is in there, but the link to the prayer, is that slightly different? Can you add that afterwards?
So the link to the prayer, you can get it, it's on the main page of the website. Right. But I can also send it to you in chat now, or I can, those of you on Facebook, you can sign up through the website, but you can also sign up through the Held in Prayer group.
And well, don't worry, guys. I'll put it into the. If you go to the main page, which is the Way of Conscious Mindfulness, this link, which I've just been sent, will be there shortly. Hello, shortly. Yes. Oh, I'll do it in a minute. But yes, I will stick it in there. So you guys can, when you see it, if you're seeing it almost live or seeing it now, it'll be there in a minute. But if you're seeing it in the future, it will already be there for you to join. So there you go. So yes, and that's it. So I love this immensely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Let's do an outro out, and then we can have a quick little chat before we go. But so everybody else, guys, we hope you loved it. We loved it. We hope you loved it too. Until next time, it's goodbye from the wonderful, the awesome, the absolutely amazing Corella, and goodbye from myself, Stephen Boggy. So until next time, we love you all. Remember the temple ways, and bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.